Well, good morning, everybody. Today is the day that we finally get to start making this truck physically look different on the outside. It's sanded, prepped, ready for paint. I just got to do one more wipe down and mask it off. I guess it's not technically quite ready, but I'm down here in the shop. I'm going to fire up the stove. I had a good fire going in here last night, but it feels like it died out. It's not quite chilly, but it's not warm enough to be putting some primer on. But the old 94 Dodge is actually going to be taking flight on the paint scale today. So let's get this whole fire started and get this thing. I'm so excited to see this truck change to something that looks desirable. Just junker trucks coming together. Okay. Huh? Coat of primer is on there. We had technical difficulty. The gun, apparently it's older than me and the truck. Yeah, older than the dirt that took off this truck. We had a little issue with it, and then I guess I didn't put enough lacquer in the primer, so we had to fight through that and put a little more in there. But this side isn't it the best side. The other side turned out really well. Nothing a little sanded won't cure. All in all, from the junker that this truck was, I don't recognize it anymore. You recognize it? I mean, bug just landed on it. Crazy how this stuff's like dried. We're gonna have to let it cure for a day or so, and I'm gonna go buy a new paint gun tonight. That way when we do second coat of prime, and then when we do the actual paint, we won't be fighting a gun that's leaking and kind of sputtered every once in a while. Probably ought to put a new spark plug or something in that paint gun of yours. I think I fouled one.
I think the injectors are bad.
Yeah. Kind of show me how he runs his technique. Obviously I could just start spraying, but I want to see what he's doing, and then I'll get my hands wet with the next round or something. It looks like Andrew's truck. I don't want that. On the next round, he was just kind of giving me the rundown on how to get the wet sanding done. Again, this is my first official paint job. Didn't really touch back there much. Get out of here. What'd you forget? Get out of here. It's like 11:30. You're drinking a Monster. You're like a crackhead. Anyway, this side here, we had trouble with the gun. It had sent a lot of, we'll just call it shrapnel. So we had to go down pretty good on that. It had a couple bubbles. But we'll go ahead and do a second coat of primer. Still need to do the hood on my own time and the roof. But once this dries, then I'll be able to see any other spots that I need to touch up, and I'll film that as I'm doing that process. But there's 3 of us rocking and rolling, trying to get this done. It's kind of late tonight. Just get a step 1 sand job done. Oh, not enough hours in the day. Not enough coffee and energy drinks either, it seems like. She looking good though. Step back and check her out. That's the truck. We got Grandma's truck and another one coming to be painted, and Tommy's truck. Start painting trucks on the side, I guess. 5 coats deep. That's how much paint we used. Not even a gallon. Mixed with some other stuff. See it in the light. Good morning, everybody. 3:30 right now. Just came down here, stoked the fire up so it can be nice and warm in here so the paint can cure for the truck. But let's go ahead and check her out. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about the paint stuff that I got. Now, each one of these gallons of paint, regrettably, I ended up getting 2 because we thought we needed more because I got a camper shell and some other stuff I want to paint green. But it's about $200 a gallon. We only use like 3/4 of a gallon, so I got enough to paint like a car and a whole nother truck. This whole bucket of paint supplies is about $840. Quite a big note. That's the most expense I've had so far on the truck, and I only used a gallon of it, so you could say maybe $400 worth of paint supplies, including primer, went into it. Paint gun, you guys will laugh, but or make fun of it, but it does a great job. This is a $30 gun from Harbor Freight. Now we had a fancy one from my uncle's collection back in the day for the primer. It kind of had a little bit of issue, so I was like, well, we'll try one of these. Did some investigating. Turns out the $30 gun does a really close job to the really expensive ones. I mean, enough that you're not going to worry about it. $700 for $30 with a regulator? Sure dang. But the truck turned out great. We could have done a better job on dust control. We do have a filter system in the back, but the dust isn't bad, but there's a couple spots here and there. That's the biggest complaint that I have so far, but we didn't really take the biggest measures on the dust factor, the walls open back there and stuff. Next time will be for sure different. Now, a dark paint like this, people said, dark paint, if for your first time painting. I had my uncle do the spraying so that I could catch wind of how he's, working the system. Took 5 coats. This is some single shot. That means you spray it on and you're done. It's got the clear coat and everything in there, but it took 5 coats. So this is on there good and thick. And that seems to be the only issue we saw with running the dark stuff is it just took more coats. I mean, it just turned out, look at it in there. There's a couple specks and stuff, but the standards were not the highest with this truck. It's a good rough draft all in all. Obviously, we put a lot of time into it. There was 3 coats of primer, sand in between each one of those, yada yada. And, wet sand, dry sand, block sand. Quite a bit of stuff. I don't even know if I filmed a lot of that because it was just, it wasn't a lot of time spent on it, but we put in the effort. But as far as what this truck came from to what it is now, it is absolutely amazing. I can't even remember how it looked when I first got it, but it does not look like the same truck. So I'm hoping it'll fire right up and do its job. Old Cummins in there took a beating. The whole truck took a beating from the previous owner. Interior's done. I got to spend a couple more bucks. I got to get a grill. I'm just going to get a new one. And I got to get headlights, fasteners for the inner fenders. Pretty much just little knickknacks here and there. I got one oil leak that I saw developing. I think it's off the power steering pump. For the headlights, if anybody's got a recommendation for it, posted a link for me. I'll check it out. I'm looking for something dark go on there. If you guys tried one out, let me know. But the dark turned out awesome. I wouldn't have any trouble spraying for myself next round. I did spray a little bit on the cab back here. Just to get my hands dirty. But she's turning out great, guys. Turning out absolutely great. Couldn't be happier. So neat to see this thing actually green again. From sanding it down to nothing to putting primer on it was exciting. But to see the final, like, we got green. Oh, man. It's been a good day. Anyway, like this video for me, guys, for bringing another 2nd gen 12 valve back to life. But it feels good putting all the effort into this truck, knowing it'll be breathing again. And plus the rough draft version, so I learned so much stuff working on this truck. So when I take it to Grandma's truck, the one I'll actually care about when I'm all said and done, not saying I don't like the green one, but this one has got a big sentimental value. I learned a lot from this one. So rough draft complete. Let's go on to the next one. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys on the next one.